don't lie. Sometimes you say you're busy to your clients, but really, you're just watching Netflix.
Hi, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
Hi, I'm Alex Ellis, and I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but I promise that I'll share everything that I've done to get a 6-figure income.
And we'll be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
And let's get started.
Yes. So welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, this is one very near and dear to our hearts because we are talking about what it means to outlast the competition in business, the importance of having an end goal to work towards, why not competing is actually the best thing you can do,
and how we can all get inspiration from the musical Hamilton.
Yeah, so basically we'll talk about all of that in the context of Hamilton as one really truly should be thinking about their business.
Absolutely. So actually this whole show came from the musical Hamilton, because there is an amazing song in Hamilton that essentially makes me think every single line about what it's like to be in business and how hard it is to like essentially outlast your competition. And when we were talking about like the show notes, you said something about really what it is to stay in business.
Being a business owner and truly a successful business owner really just comes down to being persistent, to refusing to stay down, and to keep going no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Hamilton is about a revolution, essentially. So it's about it's mostly about a revolution. And revolutions are about believing in your cause, being willing to die for your cause, and keep getting up over and over and over again, regardless of how many times you're pushed down. And they'll tell you, no, you can't do it. You're not allowed. You're breaking rules.
Stick to your writing.
Right. You're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. And people are like, maybe you're not supposed to be doing it that way. You know, you are a rebel. And entrepreneurship, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs are rebels.
Yeah. And I'll say a couple things about that. First of all, you're probably like, wait, but what Hamilton song? Are we ready to reveal?
Yes.
What song is it?
So it's the Washington song,
Stay Alive. So now it's stuck in your head. Great. We are on the same page.
Stay alive.
One thing, though, I do want to mention, based on what you said, too, and also, like, being a revolutionary, is this idea of having a purpose to what you're doing. Because I think so many times people are like, I just want to make a lot of money. And that works to a point. But when things get rough, when things get hard, when you're working 12-hour days, when you're like, man, this really sucks. I'd rather be home watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Your why and why you're doing what you're doing and that greater purpose is so important.
So important. So important. And I think that I know many conversations that we've had over the years that we've known each other come down to, you know, why are we doing what we do?
Yeah.
You know, and like when we're down in our last episode, we talked about the hardest things that we've done and how we failed many times.
A lot.
Many times. And yet we'll still get up.
Yeah.
You get up, you dust yourself off, you know, and you just go at it again. And you go at it harder sometimes. And you're coming from a different direction. And the thing about the American Revolution that's, I think, and by the way, I studied revolutionary history, so I think that's why also I really love this. American Revolution, one of the things that they did that really not many other people had done yet is they did guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
And in marketing, we have guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
Which essentially is this idea that you come at people from a different direction. So the British, they fought and they were like, okay, we're just going to stand in lines and fight you. And Americans were like, we don't fight like that. It's cheating. Essentially, the British are like, this is cheating.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs are cheaters.
Well, you got to get scrappy. You got to get creative. You got to try new stuff, do new things. And it really is about being revolutionary and being a rebel. And actually, I wanted to speak to that too, is like some of the most successful businesses and really businesses I look up to are rebelling against the status quo of what bigger industry or culture has to say about a certain thing. Yeah. So for me, what I'm rebelling against is honestly, let's go big or go home, Western medicine. And this idea that once you get older and have pain, that's it, that's the end of the road and that's all you have to look forward to for the rest of your life.
Right. And you deal with that all the time with people where they're just like, or even with me, you've said, said, you're like Sybil. That's not just like, that's not just like, what are the excuses people say? Like, this is just like
a crank. I'm getting older.
Yeah, or I'm just a crank, or like, that's just my
bad hip. Then you have one, you got a whole name for it.
I have like a cranky knee. Yeah. Like, I just limp in the morning. Yeah. It's not. That's not how it is. Like,
no,
you have
to live,
lies. Right. You don't have to live like that. And as estheticians, we deal with people who are like, well, my skin's just like that.
Yeah.
Right. And people are like, I love this product. I'm like, but do you love your skin?
Or I should just destroy my skin to burn all of the wrinkles off, right? I think that's one that you really remember.
I should laser the hell out of it is an email I just got yesterday. Right on.
Woo! If I just burn my skin 100 times, will I finally have the face I want? No, he will not.
All right, so I'm pulling up the Stay Alive lyrics for Hamilton because I want to make sure I walk through them. So I literally find that every single lyric in this means something to me, and it means something to estheticians.
Can you tell we're super fans?
Solopreneurs should totally believe every single thing in these. Every single one. Okay,
yeah, and I'm so inspired by Hamilton. And my husband does not understand why I think, so Spotify, end of the year, like the most listened things, like the Hamilton soundtrack was on there. Because anytime I need a pick-me-up, I need to be entertained, or just to like elevated, I just need to like lift my spirits. Listening to that music just really, it hits me right where I need it.
It totally does. It totally does. And I mean, I'm a fan. I love Hamilton to the degree that it is also something where it is a musical about a bigger revolution, people who were inspiring other people, and a group of people who should not per se have been together doing stuff, right? Who are creating a nation. Yeah. So all together, I think that it's one of those like amazing musicals in general and I think it's actually better if you see it. So if you ever get an opportunity to see it, because I think when you listen to it, it's fine. But when you see it, you're like, oh, I understand what's happening. The staging and everything really pulls it all together.
I know, but Philippa Sue, that's her name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like I only want her. And when I saw it here in LA, I was like, I mean, you're great and like obviously super talented, but you're not Philippa. That's awful.
Well, and you can find it online places to watch it.
Oh, yeah, that's actually that should be a confession, too. Some days at past 11, when I've told everybody, like, oh, I have a phone curfew, I'm really looking at Hamilton clips on Instagram. It's totally true.
You can see the entire thing on Instagram. Yeah. You can find it. Go look. People have links. You can go find it.
Yeah, so, please stop reading our transcripts.
So it starts with Stay Alive, Stay Alive. So, guys.
Just stay alive.
Stay alive. Just keep your business running, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes, do the thing, right? And then it's like, I've never seen our general so despondent. So what we're going to say is like, you've never seen yourself so despondent sometimes. Like, you're going to be down. There are going to be days where you're like, oh my God, I'm so down.
Yeah, it's super lonely too.
Right.
Is part of it. I think that,
lonely.
Whatever it is that's like your main business thing, seeing clients, it's like talking to clients, like it's not the same as like having quality time with somebody or doing something. And I'm actually finding this out to be true for myself as well, that like I'm not meant to be behind a computer all day every day. Even when I'm visually video chatting with people, like I need to feed off the energy of people. Right. And we've talked about this before too, like find your people, find your crew, ask for help. Don't just be like sad by yourself.
So sad by yourself. Well, and also one of the things that happens at this point in the war is that Washington is actually trying to hold the troops together. Mm-hmm. So if you understand the background of like what this part is about as well, I think it means a lot more. And because I did study history, the revolutionary history, I think the song also has a lot of meaning to me, because I understand what's happening in the war at this point is that Washington is trying to hold his troops together, and he's not getting any support. And if you have ever just sat around sometimes with your business and you're like, I am doing all of the things and I am alone. Yeah. I am by myself. I am sitting here alone. Nobody is around, and I'm struggling. I've got no one to talk to.
And nobody gets why you're still doing it.
And nobody gets it. And by the way, there's no money. By the way, the troops had no money. They were poor. They had no shoes. People were dying everywhere. They were eating their horses, which I think is from here. Yes, they're eating their horses. Like, literally, these people were they're so screwed. they were so screwed. Okay, so
and that parallels to business too, because I mean, like, how many times have you been shoved up in a corner and you're like, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna do something,
right?
And if that means eating my horses and not going with shoes,
right?
Or like, did they like
Hamilton's writing all the correspondence? He's like, I'm writing all this correspondence because Washington can't. He's too busy trying to hold the crap together, you know. And we've all like had times where we're like, I'm sending out the emails. And I'm hustling.
Crickets.
I'm on social media.
Yeah.
I'm on the social media. If the social media had happened then, Washington would be like, hey, bitches, look at my troops.
I know. Instagram story. It's like, what's up? We out here. Out in Boston.
Please money.
Send us some money.
Here's my
Venmo.
Here's my Indiegogo.
Oh my God. Quickly we devolve.
Please give us horses and blankets and shoes.
Please. Okay, so let's also talk about this denial, because even in the lyrics, local merchants deny us equipment and assistance. Like, how many times have you been denied something? Maybe it's not somebody directly saying, like, no, you can't have it, but just like, can't open business accounts, don't have credit for that.
Don't know even what you're supposed to do. You started to do business and you're like, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I'm now getting fined because I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know I was supposed to do things. I got fined all the time when I first opened my business because nobody told me that I was supposed to have like 3 different licenses. I thought it was like, I have a business license. Woo, 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 I'm so good. And then they were like, oh no, you also have to have like a City of Los Angeles business license and a Burbank business license and a cosmetology license.
Oh my gosh.
And like you have all these, and a sign license. And I was like, wait, what? Where's the list of licenses that you need?
Oh, they don't tell you. You got to figure it out on your own.
You got to figure it all out. And there was nobody I could ask at the time because I didn't know any owners who were in my area at the time. So I'm always the first person that's like, hey, you're starting to own a business? Right on. So this is who you need to talk to and this is what you do, and go to this website and find out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so they don't know. They're asking for equipment. They're asking for assistance. Let's talk about equipment. You often need equipment to start a business. They needed horses. They needed guns.
Oh.
Yeah, we need often a bed.
We need to talk about equipment right here. Okay, so you don't know what you know until you know, and then you do better.
Right?
I will have that on my tombstone. So fun story, my primary piece of equipment is my computer. And so when my laptop died like 6 months ago, I was like, my laptop is dead. I'm going to run to the Apple store. I'm going to buy whatever they need because I have a presentation tomorrow and I'm not actually done. And like, oh my gosh, freaking out. I know. So I just bought whatever.
Oh God.
I'm still mad that they sell a computer that doesn't run their software. But that's another story because, again, got to take personal responsibility. I only got me. And again, now I know what RAM does.
I know.
I will never forget this lesson because I literally waited 10 minutes for Illustrator to open and then my computer crashed and then I went and had a smoothie because I was like, screw this, I can't be bothered anymore.
True story, Alex is sitting here, we're recording a podcast and she's on the little computer that we're looking at and she's like, it's so fast. Yeah. It's just so fast.
True story.
And I'm like, well, your iPad is faster.
I know, it's true. I mean, it got to the point where I was using, so it was a brand new computer, and I was using my, 7-year-old cell phone because it was faster. And that's when you know you have a problem. But all of that is to say, you don't know what you don't know until you know, and then you just do better, and that is fine.
It's totally true. That's how it's got to be. That's got to be. Okay, so.
Cavalry is not coming.
Cavalry is not coming. So, okay. You have to know sometimes. Now, we did talk about last time that you can ask for help.
Yes.
Right? So, luckily, hopefully, unlike Washington's troops, there might be people coming to help you. Which, hey, eventually people came. The French came. Woo, thanks, Lafayette. So, my favorite person in history, by the way.
Also my favorite person in Hamilton.
So, there you go. My favorite person in history. But you will oftentimes be alone. And we will talk about this a lot. You will often be alone. And sometimes it is self-isolation.
Yeah.
But sometimes it really is. You just are alone. And the cavalry will not be coming. You'll be sitting here and you'll just be like, well, I dealt with a crazy client. I don't have enough money to pay for something. I want to take that class and I can't, or I got to hustle more. I call it dialing for dollars. I'm going to start calling my people and because I need to make X amount of dollars, I'm going to start making the phone calls, right? I'm going to actually dig deep and start asking for people,
Tell me about, you said 3 feelings about my office. How does this involve the cavalry not coming and being alone?
Okay, so there are
She writes show notes and then I'm like, whoa, what does this mean? Tell me more.
So there are times where you're sitting in your office and you're alone late at night and I work on naked people.
Yeah.
And there are some times where you deal with, most times your clients are 99% completely sane and normal. And then there are times where you deal with the super, super crazy. The super, super crazy. I've had a couple times where I have felt endangered for my life in my office, where I was super scared for my life. And sadly, none of them were with men. They were always with women. So when you're like, oh, it must be men, I'm like, no, it's not the men. It's not the men. It's always the women.
Whoa.
So one of them, I think I told you once that like she was like yelling at me and I was scared. Mm-hmm. And she was just this tiny little Asian chick. And I'm not small. Like I'm like 5'8.5". I am not a tiny woman. And she was yelling at me so much that I was feared for my life. And it was middle of the day. It wasn't even late, but I was alone in this building, and I'm in the middle of kind of nowhere.
Yeah, it's more industrial.
It's very industrial. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I run out in the street, will anybody even find me?
Cavalry is not coming.
It's not coming for you sometimes. So sometimes you might feel very actually physically really isolated and alone. And so for me, when it's like the cavalry is not coming, there are times where I really feel like, oh, the cavalry is not coming for you, which is why I also believe in tasers.
Being prepared.
Be prepared. Get a taser.
All right. Then we have provoke, outrage, outright. Right. It's the only way, or was it? There's only one way for us to win this. Provoke, outrage, outright. That's right. Okay. Don't engage, strike by night.
Right. So sometimes in our business, we actually have to shake things up.
Yep.
Okay. We have to actually like get people like, and this is like the guerrilla. This is like the guerrilla kind of warfare stuff. And so you have to go out we have Yelp reviews, right? So I would have Yelp reviews. We have like people who are belittling us. And so sometimes we have to deal with like that kind of stuff. And we have like this guerrilla warfare where like people are coming at us all ways and like we're getting provoked. And you kind of have to sit back and be like, you either fight them or you don't.
I do have a story for this too. So online, you don't have to face people, but I feel like people are also more mean because they're not looking you in the eyes.
They're not like,
right.
Alex,
they can't see my face.
I hate you in your face.
Right. So they're
trolls and they're like, I hate you in your face.
Yes. A very well-known yoga teacher who had a very large following within a private Facebook group. And I was a member of the group, but not super active. I know, right? Grab your popcorn.
I'm eating. I'm watching.
And somebody, I don't remember who, I don't think it's anybody who knew me, but somehow one of my video demos, and so I make a lot of YouTube videos, short, like less than 5 minutes, I'll demonstrate how to do a movement on one side. I'm like, and you're on your own for the second side. So it's a demo, right? It's quick. I'm not giving you the whole thing. So somehow someone posted my video within this group and asked a question, and this teacher tore me to pieces. Oh, how dare she? She obviously doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no experience. Like, there's no modifications, blah, 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 blah. And then a friend of mine commented on it. Well, actually, I know her, tagged me in it, so then I was aware of it. I was like, oh, my God, I wish I hadn't known. But the greatest thing about that and the internet, like, at first I was like, oh my gosh, this woman I don't even know who I used to respect, but now I'm like, you're just mean, is trying to tear me down. The like gang mentality and like mob mentality comes out. But the bright side is her traffic and her large community going to watch my video and yes, to tear me down, earned me extra clicks and more money through YouTube that day. So I was like, holla, thanks for the check.
Which does prove that all marketing is good marketing, even the bad.
Oh yeah,
even the bad.
In fact, if they're saying bad stuff, at least they're still talking about you.
Even often the bad stuff is better because people are like, "Ooh, I'm excited, I'm interested." Whereas like, "Oh, they say nice things about her. Who cares?" "Ooh, they're saying shitty stuff about her. I'm really interested now."
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I would never say like, you know, don't be afraid of taking a stand and standing for something and putting your flag and saying like, I call BS on that, because if you don't have haters, like you're not really standing for anything.
That's a whole nother Hamilton song.
Yeah. Next
Once again, we can learn so many things from Hamilton.
So this suddenly became...
What do you stand for?
The Hamilton podcast. The Hamilton Business Podcast.
What do you stand for? If you don't stand for something...
Yeah, what do you stand for?
Yeah, what do you stand for?
Nothing.
I'm telling you, there's so many lessons to be learned from Hamilton. Also, just revolutionary history. So many things to be learned from revolutionary history in general. So...
Don't engage. Strike by night.
So, don't engage. Okay, so... Quite frankly, what I've learned over the years is do not engage with your Yelp haters. Ugh.
No, I did not engage with that lady and I still made my money.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Don't engage. Just, you want to stand up and be like, no, hashtag reasons and you're wrong.
Yeah.
So, but don't. Just, I have like a million of stories and I'm sure that you probably have stories too. And you have friends that have stories.
Or my favorite, please take me off your email list. And you're like, it's at the bottom of the email.
I just did.
Help yourself. I know you said that. And I've also had, your video was too wordy. I turned it off after 5 minutes. And I really wanted to reply back.
Thank you so much for watching.
No, I didn't say anything.
Thank you so much for watching. That's all the response. So sarcastic in your head. But in reality, happy faces and smiles.
Well, here's one thing, too. I mean, just about, we need to have a whole episode about the haters. But I had to sit down and think, what do I really want to get? And I was like, I want to teach her a lesson with my comment. I was like, I'm not teaching her any lesson. And so I walked away from that dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But this also goes to say, strike by night, don't engage. If you're not a big spa,
right,
don't try to be one. Don't try to play the game like somebody else when that's not you. Like we said, stick your flag in the ground, do what you do, and like don't try to emulate those you're not, because who knows, it might not be working that great for them.
It's totally true. It's totally true. And you, once again, and you've said this a bunch of times, Alex, you don't know what's happening in the background. You don't know what's going on. And this is what I found is true as well. You don't know what's going on in their life, and you have no idea what's happening in their space.
Yeah.
So you try to come back with kindness opposed to like vitriol.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's hard. I always tell people about the time that I had somebody on Yelp who was just like all up in my face about my sheets and how that they're not white and they must be dirty. I literally use cream. I honestly have cream bamboo sheets.
They're very soft.
Right? And they're just like a natural fiber. And I was like all up in arms about it. And then I was like, don't have a fight about this. And because I tried and I was not going to win.
No.
But I was a young baby esthetician and I didn't know better. And Yelp was new. So I have all the Yelp I'm stupid stories.
Oh my God. Can we talk about Yelp
later?
Remain relentless.
Remain relentless till your troops take flight. Okay. So just, dude, stay at it. Just keep it right. So much of this particular thing is about keeping at it. Keep at it. Keep at it. The number one lesson that you will learn from Hamilton is just keep at it. Keep getting up. That is what the lesson of Hamilton is. I mean, he literally never gives up until like he's dead.
They tried to throw him under the bus for,
right.
like, I was going to say not prostitution, but like adultery.
He had an affair.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it smart.
And he was like, well, watch me. I'm going to release these papers.
You all have an affairs. Yeah, but he'd handle that. Listen, talk about like not understanding marketing. Now it'd be like sex tape bitches, but like.
He didn't pull a Kardashian.
He did not do it right. Yeah, he did not judge his audience properly.
No.
It was a different time then.
It was.
And he like hurt his family and stuff. But, whatever.
Poor Philippa Sue.
Listen. And then it's like.
Outrun.
Outlast. So let's talk about outlasting. Whenever I think about outlasting, I honestly think about the fact that I may not be able to be better than my competition. Okay, so even when I'm at my lowest, I may not be able to be better than my competition, but I can probably outlast them because you know what? I can outwork them. And I know that in my industry, a lot of people are like, and I even say this, don't work harder, work better. But sometimes the answer actually is work harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to work harder because we have to outlast people. I have been here during a downturn in economy, and I'm still here. I'm here when everyone failed. We had businesses left and right who are losing business and failing. We had a huge writer's strike here, and let me tell you, I lost 55% of my business in a year. I'm still here. And you know why? Because I just worked harder. I worked more hours and I worked harder. There's times where like I needed more money for hashtag reasons because either somebody wasn't working or I was doing a project or something, and I just worked harder.
Yeah, and do whatever it takes.
Right. We have the luxury as solopreneurs that we can work more hours if we need more money. It's not we don't work a 9-to-5 job.
No.
So we're like I need more money.
You can work more hours. You can take weird side hustles.
Yeah. Like you just do it.
I mean, ask me about my side hustle as a party coordinator,
That's
sort
right.
of. Okay, like you do whatever it takes because, again, I think this comes back to your why. I know that my purpose is bigger than me, and that when I stop, when I get tired, when I decide it's too hard, the only person I'm really feeling is that person out there that I can help. The person I can help find their voice, find their power, find their passion for life.
Yes.
So it's not about me. And that's also like, you know, outlasting the competition. Like there's a reason why I have posted every day on Instagram for like the last 5 months. It's just because other people won't work as hard as you. And that is your superpower.
That's absolutely right. That you will just keep going. Persistence.
Yeah.
You just keep going. You just keep going. And quite frankly, this is how Gandhi did it. Like the idea is that, and he did it in a nonviolent revolution, but you just keep going. You will at some point persevere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, people don't take you seriously if you quit after the first inning.
Right. And we do live in a world where people quit a lot. So
oh my gosh,
you've just got to keep going. We have a whole other podcast about that, the quitting, because you shouldn't do it. Okay. So hit them quick and get out fast. And
Chicka-plow.
Chicka-plow. I don't know what Chicka-plow is about. But hit them fast and hit them quick and get out fast. So sometimes you just got to like do it. Yeah. Let's just get the job done. Like we've said, get them done. All right.
Well, and I think too, we've talked about this before, but you know, you don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the tallest, you don't have to be the prettiest, you don't have to be the one with the most following. Like you just have to keep doing the thing and doing it for a reason that's bigger than just money.
Yes. I want you to repeat that because that's so important.
Keep doing the thing for a reason that's bigger than just money.
That's right. Because at the end of the day, money is not, I mean, I love money. We've talked about it before. Money is great. But money is not your cause. So once again, revolutionaries, they're not doing it for money. They're doing it for a cause. They believe in something. So like when I get up in the morning and I'm helping my clients, I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the cause of skincare. I believe in what I am preaching and selling. I believe in every product that I sell. Do you believe in what you're doing, Alex?
Hell yeah.
Yes. And will you do your side hustles because you know at the end of the day it pays for what you actually want to do?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I know like my purpose in this world is so much bigger than even where I'm at right now.
Yes. So and that's the thing. So if you have to sometimes do something that maybe is not too like
glamorous.
Right? You're glamorous. It's not your dream. You're like, but this isn't what I want to be doing. You know that it's working towards that bigger cause. Okay? And that's okay. It's all right.
It's totally fine.
I know, because I have a lot of conversation where people are like, but this isn't what I want to be doing. I'm like, dude, I've done telemarketing, and that's not what I wanted to do. And yet I did it because I needed to do something to make money to get me to do the thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is here.
Yeah.
Right?
It's got to be persistent AF.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my God. So many lessons to be learned from Hamilton.
I know. I need to get in the car right now and start listening to it. All right, the next line you have here, I know there's more lines, but we talked about how every day is a test of camaraderie.
Yeah, so every day is a test of camaraderie. So one of the things that I think is hard in this business is actually staying friends sometimes with the people.
Dude, that aren't.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like this
particular
line will sometimes when I'm driving will actually choke me up depending on like what's happened in my life, because you will have times where you lose people because they don't get what you're doing. You will lose people because they've betrayed you. You know, you think that they're your friends and you've helped them, and then they betray you because maybe they're not on the same mission you are, or they're not in the same place you are, and they think of themselves as competition to you, and you were like, I thought we were just friends.
Or even just people like not believing.
Well, and that's the thing. Some people just aren't. They pretend that they're like, no, I'm with you 100%, and then they're like, I mean, except that you seem to be like failing.
Oh my God.
And therefore, I'm not really with you anymore.
Yeah.
Or I thought this was a hobby.
Yeah. Or even like, I think like where I find the most friction is that I eat, sleep, and breathe my business. I do. Like, it's my passion. I love what I do.
Yeah.
And other people who are able to work a more traditional job at 9 to 5 where they go to work and then they get to come home and not think about it, don't understand that even while you're brushing your teeth before you go to bed, like you're thinking up, oh, what if I tried this with that kind? Or what if I did this? Or what if I do that? Yeah. Like, I don't turn my brain off because like I love it. I love what I do. And there are people who, even those close to you, like they just don't get it.
They don't. And I think a lot of it is because they don't have that same passion and commitment. Yeah. There are so many people that get up, and let us know if you have it, leave like a comment, call us. If you understand this, if you are that person who's passionate, or if you know a person who's living that life where they're like, I get up, I work a job, I come home, I eat my dinner and I just go to bed. That they don't have that kind of like passion in their life. Whereas like you do, where you're like, I get up, I'm thinking about what I want to do, and I'm thinking about the next thing, and I'm like, I see something that inspires me in what I'm living, you know, because it is hard. And I know for me, I feel very lucky because my partner, he 100% supports me. Mm-hmm. He's there with my passion, and he's sometimes the person when I'm feeling low who will be like, get your ass up. Yeah. Dust yourself off. Don't be a little bitch about it.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. No, my husband, he said one time just like, well, I guess you're just always going to be talking about your business. And he didn't mean it in a negative way. It was just kind of like realization for him. But similarly, like he may not get my just like persistence and doggedness and like inability to give up, but he's there to support it no matter what.
And if, you know, I'll be honest, if you have somebody in your life who's not supporting you, you need to reevaluate that person in your life. And it doesn't mean you have to cut them out per se, but you need to evaluate. Yeah, you need to like put them in a box, put them in a place that, you know, you can keep them so that you feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
we so need to talk so much more about this.
Because you need to feel safe and in control of your life and know that it's hard sometimes to be a dreamer.
Yes.
They're pioneers. You're a pioneer. You're dreaming. I don't care what you call it, but
it's Oregon Trail, you guys.
Yeah. And people who are not visionaries, you know, they're misunderstood because they've never dreamed that. They don't understand, you know, they don't get it, which, I mean, quite frankly, he wasn't understood.
No. I mean, not even, they had to write books and a whole darn musical about him.
Yeah, no. I mean, Hamilton was not understood. They didn't believe in most of the stuff he did.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to say one other thing too about having this like higher purpose, and we'll definitely talk more about this, but even if you are in a job that you're like, oh, I don't really like this and this isn't my passion, I still believe that you can have a larger purpose or why that isn't necessarily your job. Not in the same way, you know, like that we have where it's like, it's our job. I think everybody does have a purpose and a reason for being here. And it may not be what you do for work. Maybe it's how that serves something else. So if you're feeling like, oh, that's not me at all, just know like there's a place for you too. And we'll talk about that in the future.
Right. And while we're talking to people who were maybe misunderstood and are free thinkers and forward thinkers, let's talk about the writer of this musical, Lin-Manuel Miranda, right?
Lin-Manuel.
So when I first like told you the idea of this podcast, this episode for the show, you were like, oh my God, I have to show you something. I have to show you.
Yeah. So similarly, how you're like, every time I listen to a song, I get really emotional. This is like a way I like to torture myself a little bit. And for me, this is my procrastination. I go into, you know, Instagram rabbit holes, YouTube rabbit holes late at night when I really should be in bed and no good is coming from it. But I stumbled across the video, and I don't even know like what the event was, but it was the first time that Lin-Manuel performed Hamilton at the White House. And I think he had been there either before or they knew of him because he had, you know, success with In the Heights.
Right.
And it's just him and his accompaniment on piano, who also was there when he came back later.
Yeah.
And he's singing Hamilton, like the main song.
Yeah, the first song.
Yeah.
So he's just singing like the very first song, and you can see he's nervous.
Oh, so like he's
so nervous.
Yeah. And he's introducing
and he's so young.
And he's like, this is like a hip hop opera about one of the most revolutionary and transformative people, you know, in the country, Alexander Hamilton.
And it's like crickets.
Obama laughed, you guys.
Right.
He straight up laughed.
And people are clapping. They're
like, okay, cool. But then he started singing. And like, I'm getting goosebumps too just talking about this. His vision for what Hamilton was going to be, even if he didn't know exactly where it would lead him to the point where he is now, he knew that it was bigger and it served a bigger purpose, and that even if Obama laughed in your face, it was still important that he continued. He didn't let that stop him. He didn't let that change his idea of what it was going to be. Like, he still did it, and thank God that he did it for the number of times that I have been moved to tears from this play, from this work of art, this musical, and how transformative it has been in my life, you know? Because Obama's not laughing at me, and I'm like, oh, but this YouTube comment from some stranger I've never met in Transylvania. Who gives a flying squirrel?
No, and it, like, that he believed in that vision so hard. Where I'm sure that there are people, I mean, like, I know that he'd already had In the Heights, which when he came out with, he's like, I'm going to do a rap
Yeah.
I'm gonna rap this, which I mean, honestly, it's like one of the whitest rap musicals ever.
But he's not. He's
I know,
Rican.
but like it's made for like, listen, it's made for white people like me who
Broadway.
like who are like, what did they say? I can't understand rap.
My sweet mother.
See,
I didn't really understand.
See, it's made for like.
I love her.
I don't wait. What were the words? Right. So he like with Hamilton, he's like I'm gonna let loose a bit. I'm gonna let it go. Also, the idea that he's like, I'm not gonna care about color. That's not. I don't care. I'm just gonna put the people in that I want to put it in. It's gonna be about like immigrants. I'm gonna talk about stuff.
We get the job done. I think too, like the biggest thing for me is just having, again, that persistence and knowing your vision is bigger than you can even imagine. And you don't have to know the how. You don't have to know how you're going to get there, how you're going to figure it out. You just have to know like what that next step is.
Right. Now I will say that I do think like a general. So I'm always like, it's good to at least try to put down a plan, even if you don't know 100% how you're getting there. Have some kind of plan so you at least can be like, okay, I'm trying.
Stabbing in the dark.
I'm trying to get where I'm going. And we just kind of talked about this the other day. So Alex is trying to help me with my stuff.
No, I will help you with
she's
your
working,
stuff.
and we're gonna bring it all to you.
Yes.
I'm Project Zero. So.
It involves a lot of shaking and yelling.
It does. So and we're gonna bring it all here to you so you can watch it happen. So one of the things that I do is I actually work backwards with things, and so I start from this is the place I want to go to. This is where I want to be, and so I'll work backwards from that, so that I can understand where all the tentacles kind of come from, and that doesn't work for everyone, but kind of knowing where you want to go helps you understand what might be in between, right? So understanding where you want to end up is super important.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's very, very important. And that way you can go, okay, I know that this is where I want to end up. I have here, let's at least think of that next step.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because not everybody can, sometimes it's all too scary for people. You know, if you are a person that can do all that huge planning, that's how you really make the money. But if you can't, that's okay. There are ways to go about it, and we'll definitely have a conversation at some point about like kind of the ways that you can get like that broad thinking. Are there good like techniques for? Because I know you're a journaler. We've had this conversation as well. Like I'm not a good journaler. That's not my technique. But I always feel that like this is like a time where like journaling and stuff is very helpful for kind of like planning that stuff.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think too. I definitely write stuff down because that's more tangible. And for me, like having that physical representation gets it kind of out of that like blue sky dreaming space into something more realistic. And like, you know, I love my planner.
I know you do.
I just printed out, you guys, a quarter's worth of monthly calendars to plot stuff out. So, I mean, exactly what you're saying too. No, it's so fun. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I tried to get pumped for a second. I was like so sleepy.
I know that I want to open up enrollment for my online membership, which means I got to work backwards. That's where I want to go. So when do all of these moving parts need to be ready so that on deadline day, I'm not rushing around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Right.
So I think that would be a good place definitely to think about it. So let's say you have a new service you want to debut, or a new menu, or even just like a revenue goal, maybe. Or maybe it's I want to work with, 3 new clients this month or this week. Like whatever it is, put it down on the calendar, pick a date. Call your business bestie, let them know, here's my plan. I want you to hold me accountable. I want to put it out there in the universe, and then work backwards as to what exactly you need to do to get yourself there. I've talked about this before too, of doing a brain dump, just like get a piece of paper. What are all the moving parts? Get them out of your brain onto a piece of paper, and then you can see, okay, what needs to happen first? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do to take just that next step? Which is probably a whole lot smaller than it needs to be. Like back to Lin-Manuel, he has this one song. I'm sure he had more songs. He wants to make a musical. He's not thinking of like all of the songs at once. It's one song at a time, one song at a time. What's the story I want to tell? What are the feelings I want to evoke? And what is like the next thing that I can do?
Yeah.
I also just, side note, I can't remember. I think it was like with Oprah or 60 Minutes, something like that. What is Burr's song about his kid?
Oh, Dear Theodosia?
I think it was that one. Yeah. Lin-Manuel was on his way to a birthday party, and he was on the train when inspiration struck, and he just started writing, which again, always have something to write stuff down with. Got to the birthday party. Happy birthday. Here's your present. I gotta go. And as you creative entrepreneurs know, when those ideas come, you gotta capture them because there is no guarantee that you're gonna remember them. Yeah. And I even had this, like, I wrote down an idea for a tracker, and then I couldn't remember where I wrote it down. And of course, I don't remember what it was included, but then I found it. So, right, this is again, have a journal so you can collect all of your excellent ideas in one spot.
Yeah, I also, because I'm a talk thinker, so I'm a verbal learner. So I talk think. And I will use my audio notes a lot. Yeah. Because I literally, and I do a lot of good thinking in cars. I live in Los Angeles. We're in cars.
Oh my gosh,
we're in cars a lot, right? And I've had a bunch of completely amazing ideas for this podcast where, like, I've actually talked through the podcast. And then I'll be like, did I get that on my notes? Fuck, I totally didn't. And then I'll be like, can I think of it again? No. And I'll go out to the muse. I'm like, please muse, send it again. I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. Which, by the way, is how this one came about. It came out the second time I was listening to this. I was like, oh my God, that was the idea for this. That was the idea. It came again. Because this is how it is sometimes. This is how it is.
I do, yeah. You know, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this in Big Magic. Did you read that book?
Yeah, such a good book. Good book, guys.
Super good book. And she talks about how she had this idea to write this story, and she started it, but then something came up, or she didn't, something like that. And a couple months later, she sat down to have coffee with a friend, and like, oh, well, what are you working on? And her friend started sharing this story that was like literally word for word the exact same story that Elizabeth Gilbert had been thinking, but her friend was able to act upon it. So write down, capture those ideas, and then be as brave as Lin-Manuel standing on stage in front of Obama and do it. Just go for it, because you're never going to know if it's going to work or it's not going to work, right? Unless you try.
Push play. Do it. Do the thing.
Yeah.
Just make it happen.
Just dump the tea in the harbor. I mean, how else are you going to know if you're going to get out of it?
That's not what that was about, but okay, but do it. I mean, it's not what that was about.
The tea in the harbor? They don't want to pay taxes.
I know, but without representation.
Yeah, no taxation without representation.
Right, but that was...
Get out of here. And then King George comes in.
Right.
What's next?
Okay, so we definitely should have a conversation about what the revolution is about.
Okay. On or on time. So what's cooking, Miss Sybil? Are you cooking stuff? Are you up to things? What's going on?
Okay, so what's happening right now is I just spent a bunch of time with Alex, who was keeping me on point with a bunch of stuff we're doing. And we had a really great idea about, what if our lights just went out? Oh no. Show stuff. About what I need to be doing for my business. And it was great, because I went to my friend Alex and I was like, I need help. And so not only is Skinfessional helping me make my business even better, I realized that I will be bringing all that information back to the people here. And one of the things I thought about is if anybody wants to watch us in progress of doing any of those things, so like wants to have us watch us break down, I'm making a skin class. If anybody wants us to break that down, let us know.
Heck yeah.
Shout out. We'll do one. We'll try it. You know, we can like sit around and be like, we recorded us doing that, and you can watch it or not.
Clearly, we have no problem being in front of a camera.
Yeah. But we sat around and I was like, okay, I'm going to do because I told you should do an Instagram class.
Yeah, so I started one.
Right? And I was like, well, if Alex started one, I can start one. Whatever. And I have 6 people in it right now.
No way! Oh my gosh!
And I have no content.
That's okay. Tell me you're starting next week.
Yeah, so I have no content. So I was like, fuck! I have no content!
That's so exciting.
So I have no content. And I had to like figure out how to wait for them to pay. So I had to figure out how to set up Shopify for like Instagram, which I've never done before.
Oh my gosh, we should talk later.
Yeah, so I had never done that before. So I'm in the process of figuring that shit out. So I sent them invoices instead. So I'm waiting for them to pay invoices, which they all seem really sketchy about, which who cares? It's an invoice. But people are super sketchy about paying invoices online apparently.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to talk.
Yeah. So, oh my God, the stuff that I'm doing. But 6 people, just because of a conversation we had. Also, you sent out an email for me. She sent out a newsletter for me. I've had $1,000 in sales.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
$1,000 in sales. I had to ship out a bunch of product. First world problems. $1,000 in sales from that. And I've asked every person who's come in so far, did you get the email? If they didn't, I was like, hey, while you're here with me, can you please just check your phone and see if I went to spam? Because Alex was like, it went to spam for me.
Yeah, my phone was real pissed
about it. If it didn't go to spam to them where we could find it, I marked them down This are the things I actually did. I marked them down as I'm going to track them to see if I can find out what the heck happened to their email for next time. Okay.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as,
they just they just didn't notice and then they just deleted it or whatever. Yeah. But like I just marked them down. So this is things that I will do when I'm actually like trying to, because I have a small enough list that you can do this. And these are the things you just do. All right. And so that's the stuff that happened just between the time that we saw each other on Tuesday and today is now Friday.
Well, I was going to talk about brownies, but now I feel like I gotta like level up. But
this is because my friend Alex kept me accountable and helped me out because I reached out.
Oh, shoot.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, I guess one thing I can say too is, and we've talked about this before, of like knowing yourself and what your tendencies are and how you really like to work and not being afraid to take opportunities on the side because money. And so one thing that happened for me that I was really excited about is that just yesterday I drove all over Los Angeles, didn't listen to Hamilton once, unfortunately, but I was able to make a lot of connections and collaborations with really awesome people who may not be exactly aligned with what I'm doing right now, but in the grand scope and, like the bigger picture, it is. So it's exciting, like the opportunities are coming, action, and really like doors opening. Like they don't open if you're just standing there. Like that's not how it works. And so, take those meetings, say yes to things that make you feel uncomfortable. Go have a meeting with your manager. And even it was so funny, other people in the gym were like, the manager. And I was like, am I supposed to be afraid of her? She seems really nice. Really nice. And then I also want to share another story about social media. So everyone knows I love social media so much. And I was watching Instagram stories of I would say a friend. I've never met her in person, but I think she's my friend because I follow her every day. Day.
Everyone we follow are our best friends, especially when we talk to them on DMs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I DM her all the time.
Yeah, totally.
But one thing she shared, and again, this is like, use social media because you never know who is going to have their lives changed. It goes back to brownies, from your content. So she does like a recipe planning membership, and she was sharing about baking, and she was like, yeah, you don't really have to follow the instructions. If you've been following along, you know that I'm very regimented. I like to follow the instructions step by step by step. And I was like, well, obviously you must cream the sugar and the butter first and then add the vanilla. Like, you got to follow the recipe or what else is there. She threw everything into the bowl. Oh my God, I would
just throw everything in the bowl.
Yeah, she threw everything into the bowl. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But it worked out. And so you never know. Now I'm going to use that for Christmas gifts. I got to practice, make some brownies this weekend. But it was
just getting brownies?
Maybe. Okay. You have to fight Anthony for them, but maybe.
I mean, you could just make some more brownies.
I know, I do have to test it.
Put a little mint extract in there, make a mint brownies.
Mint brownie.
Or Kahlua.
No. We only make chocolate brownies. But anyways, share your content because that was such a game-changing experience for me as somebody who's really regimented. I was just like, oh, I can have fun. I can experiment. And not that I needed permission. I needed someone to give me permission to do it. And I was so grateful that this woman shared 15 seconds. That changed my life. And now we will all enjoy brownies, but not with Kahlua or mint. That's disgusting.
So now we know. We've just learned valuable things about Alex, which we know. And we know things about Sybil. So, Sybil, once again, Alex knows I am what kind of type of person?
You are a rebel through and through.
I am. And what kind of person is Alex?
I'm a questioner leaning towards not obliger, upholder.
Oh, upholder. There we go. Yeah, not obliger, upholder.
Gretchen Rubin, The Four Tendencies. Check it out. It's legit.
Also, totally true.
Okay, so we want to know not what your favorite brownie recipe is. Mm-hmm. You can tell me. But
you can totally tell us, though. But
what's your favorite Hamilton song? Sing it out. Tag us on IG stories. DM us. Send us messages. Let us know. I am at Hala Formala.
I am Skinfessional. You're a skin fitness expert. I'm at Your Skin Fitness Expert, but we are at Skinfessional now.
Yes, we are.
So you can also just find us at Skinfessional because I'm there all the time, and quite frankly, there's nobody there yet. So you could even be our first person.
Well, you won't be. Well, yeah, be our first.
You can be our first.
We'll send you some brownies.
Be our first.
Or you can also call us on the Skinfessional hotline, which actually in these notes just says Skinfessional box, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. But 818-473-5277. We'll put that down in the show notes for you as well.
So until next week,
keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.